Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you for tuning in and I hope you get to stay. To the family that is already subscribed, hey fam bam, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in too. My name is Kalu. Now today's video is a bit different from my usual videos, but it is very necessary given what is currently happening in Namibia. So Namibia is currently conducting a general voters registration for the upcoming national elections that will take place on the 27th of November 2024. The general registration of voters has been running since the 3rd of June 2024 and it will end on the 1st of August 2024. So we pretty much have less than a month to register ourselves as voters. However, there have been numerous reports in the media stating that not many people are registering themselves to vote. Now, this could be because of many reasons, but today I want to share some information around why you should register to vote if you're above the age of 18 and are a citizen of the Republic of Namibia. If you have turned 18 in the past 5 years, then this is all very new to you and you probably don't know much about it. But don't worry, I've got your back. I've gone ahead and done a whole bunch of reading so that I can help you here. I will take you through all you need to know and hopefully encourage you to go register to vote. But before we get into it, I would like to state that I am not affiliated with any political party. And my main reason for making this video is to encourage people to go out and register to vote before the registration period ends. But now that we've cleared that, let's get into it. Let's start off with what elections are. You're probably sitting at home wondering what elections are and why they are so important. Well, elections are the process by which members of a community or country choose representatives to hold positions at various levels of government. Don't worry, I'll break it down for you. So members of a community are a group of people living in the same place or having common interests. Representatives are people chosen or appointed to act or speak on behalf of others. And government is a political system by which a country or community is administered and regulated. It oversees the control and direction of the country. I hope we now understand what elections are. So why do we have elections? Well, Namibia is a democratic country, meaning we have a system of government where people have the power to participate in decision making. We participate in decision making by choosing representatives to make decisions on our behalf, and we do this through voting or taking part in the election. And every successful democracy is built on its voting system. Voting allows citizens to choose their leaders and hold them accountable or responsible for their actions. If voters are not satisfied with the people in power, they can vote them out. In a democracy, voters can enjoy their right to vote without being afraid or intimidated. And a healthy democracy needs every voter to take part because your vote is needed to improve human rights, education, the number of jobs, housing, peace, and stability. This means that if you don't vote, then your voice is silenced. And those that show up to vote speak on your behalf because their votes will be counted and whoever they voted for will form part of the government and make decisions that affect you. Your right to vote is given in Article 17 of the Namibian Constitution that came into force at independence on 21 March 1990. Article 17 also guarantees that you as a Namibian citizen have the right to take part in peaceful political activities that will influence who is in the government as in its composition, how it runs the country through its policies. This includes your right to form and join a political party, as well as your right to take part in public affairs, either directly yourself or through your freely chosen representative. Just to show you that I'm not making this up, I've got a copy of the Namibian Constitution here, and I will read Article 17 for you. there, Article 17. All citizens shall have the right to participate in peaceful political activity intended to influence the composition and policies of government. All citizens shall have the right to form and join political parties and subject to qualifications prescribed by law as are necessary in a democratic society to participate in the conduct of public affairs, whether directly or through freely chosen representatives. Every citizen who has reached the age of 18 years shall have the right to vote, and who has reached the age of 21 years to be elected to public office unless otherwise provided herein. The rights guaranteed by sub-article 2 hereof may be abrogated, suspended, or impinged upon by Parliament in respect of specific categories of persons on such grounds of infirmity or on such grounds of public interest or majority as are necessary in a democratic society. Now that we have established that, so who can register to vote? Any Namibian citizen who is 18 years or older can be registered as a voter. A general registration of voters happens every 10 years, but shortly before any election, there is also a supplementary or extra voters registration when new voters can be registered. This means people who just turned 18 or after the last voters registration can now register, and those that want to change their address can do so. After the registration, all registered voters are listed on a voters roll that is published, printed, or made public in some other written way at least 90 days before the presidential and national assembly elections and 30 days before regional council and local authority elections. A notice in the government gazette tells Namibian citizens where and when they can inspect the voters' roll to check for any mistakes in their information. If they disagree with that information, they need to inform the Electoral Commission of Namibia within 14 days after the notice was published in the government gazette. So, what are the type of elections that you can register for? In Namibia, there are 4 types of elections. These are the presidential elections, National Assembly elections, the regional council elections, and the local authority elections. Let's have a look at each of these separately. Starting off with the presidential elections. In a presidential election, the people elect their president. A presidential candidate is someone who would like your vote in an election to become president. The person who wins the election is elected by an absolute majority, 50% plus 1, through direct, universal, and equal suffrage. That is, all adult citizens have the right to vote without discrimination. Therefore, the candidate who gets the most votes by a clear majority is elected president. However, if no candidate gets over 50% of the vote in the first round, the 2 candidates with the highest number of votes go into a second round of voting until one of them gets a clear majority. The elected president automatically becomes the head of state and of the government, as well as the commander-in-chief of the defense force. The president appoints Namibia's cabinet, which is made up of the prime minister, a deputy prime minister, ministers of various ministries, and some other individuals appointed according to the constitution. The president and the cabinet run the government. That is, they have the executive power. Presidential elections are held every 5 years. The Namibian constitution says each president is only allowed to hold that position for 2 terms of 5 years each, meaning they can only be president for 10 years. Presidential elections are usually held together with the National Assembly elections. That ushers us into the next form of elections, which is the National Assembly elections. Namibia's parliament is made up of the National Assembly and the National Council. Parliament makes Namibia's laws. That is, it is the legislative or law-making power in the country. The National Assembly, the lower house of parliament, consists of 104 members, and of these, 96 members are directly elected by the people, while 8 are appointed by the president. The National Assembly draws up the country's laws and its annual budget. So these are the people who will decide how much goes towards education, health, safety, and all the other ministries. Before a National Assembly election, each political party draws up a list of their candidates. These lists are sent to the Electoral Commission of Namibia, which makes the information known to the voters. National Assembly members are elected by proportional representation. Each political party will be represented in Parliament according to the proportion or size of the votes they receive. After the election, the winning political parties are given seats in the National Assembly according to a quota system. The quota is worked out by dividing the total number of votes cast by the total number of seats in the National Assembly, which is 96 because the 8 are appointed by the president. The next type of elections that we will now look at is the regional council elections. Every region in Namibia is divided into various smaller areas or constituencies. Each region is governed by a regional council. Voters can only take part in regional council elections if they live in a constituency in that region. A properly registered political party can nominate its members to offer themselves for election as constituency councillors in the constituencies that they live in. The Namibian Constitution also allows independent individuals who do not belong to any political party to offer themselves for election as constituency councillors. The candidate with the highest number of votes in each constituency will win a seat on the regional council in question. Each regional council has 3 members in the National Council, which is the upper house of parliament. The National Council has 42 members who are indirectly chosen by the country's 14 regional councils. It is the National Council's duty to examine and comment on laws drafted by the National Assembly. The National Council also recommends changes to the draft law to make sure that regional matters are included. The law is then sent back to the National Assembly to finalize and pass it. The fourth and final election type is the local authority elections. A local authority is a municipality, a community council, a village council, or any other organization that represents Namibian citizens at a local rather than regional level. During a local authority election, all political parties, associations, organizations, and independent individuals who are taking part must inform that local authority in writing by handing in a list of their candidates where applicable. Voters in the area governed by that local authority will then vote directly by secret ballot for their chosen political party, association, organization, or individual to represent them on a local authority council. The seats on the local authority council will be filled according to the number of votes each political party, association, organization, or individual receives. The regional council elections are usually held together with the local authority elections. I know it's a lot of information, but we're almost at the end. So after getting to know all that, let's get into what you need to register as a voter. So the Electoral Commission of Namibia has printed out these booklets that, well, I got this in the newspaper. I don't know where else you can find them, but they've been inserting them into the newspapers. So you can probably get hold of one if you get a newspaper. Yeah. And in this booklet, they have given, the instructions on what you need to bring along, or they've given guidance on the things that you need to bring along when you go register as a voter. So the requirements to register as a voter are proof of identity, age, and Namibian citizenship. In order to register as a voter, an applicant should be able to provide proof of identity, age, and Namibian citizenship by providing one or a combination of the following documents. Namibian identity document, old Namibian identity document. This is the South African ID, that old one. A valid green Namibian passport, or Namibian citizenship certificate, birth certificate of Namibia or any other country, or sworn statements by two registered deponents. This is interesting. But I'm thinking this probably applies to Namibians that were not necessarily born in Namibia. Okay, a Namibian birth certificate or birth certificate of any other country, and a sworn statement under oath in which the applicant affirms that he or she is a Namibian citizen and has not renounced his or her Namibian citizenship, as well as statements under oath or affirmation by two registered deponents. Or a valid Namibian driver's license together with a Namibian birth certificate or a birth certificate or any other country, and a sworn statement under oath in which the applicant affirms that he or she is a Namibian citizen and has not renounced his or her Namibian citizenship. The requirements to register as a voter for local authority election are proof of residence for the last 12 months. In order to register as a voter in a local authority, an applicant should be able to provide the following documents: a municipality bill, a telephone bill, a lease agreement, statement under oath by applicant. In respect of proof of residence and registration of Defense Force, police, and Namibia Correctional Service members, the applicant must produce the following documents: proof of membership and affidavit deposed by the commanding officer stating residence in a particular constituency or local authority area, accounts payable by the member to such force or to the state. In respect of proof of residence and registration of persons at schools or higher education institution, the applicant must produce the following: proof of registration or any statement of registration. So to vote in the local authority elections, you should have lived in that area for over a year, and that is why they require you to produce these documents to prove that you've lived there for over a year. However, if you don't have like a municipal bill, a telephone bill, or lease agreement, you can state under oath when you go register that you've lived in that area for over a year. They'll ask you when you arrived in that area, and then they will register you for that. And then the next question would naturally be, where can one register? So this wonderful booklet that the Electoral Commission of Namibia has published, where the venue is, when they will be there, because they don't really have permanent, they do have permanent places like their offices in the regions. You can go to the Electoral Commission office in your region to go and register to vote. However, they're also going around to different places, and so they've now just printed this information about where they will be when. So it's just good to look at this before you go out there. I think I've seen this on social media as well. So yeah, I mean, when I went to register, they were just down my street. Though I was not able to register there, I ended up going to their offices, and it wasn't even a long process. I was done in less than an hour. So yeah, please go out and register to vote before the 1st of August. There is no chance of extension on this one because they work according to the timelines. Like I mentioned, They need to publish the voters' roll 90 days before the presidential and National Assembly elections. So there is no room for them to actually extend this. And it's also, we had 52 days to do this. So we don't really have any excuses. And if you're waiting until the last minute, please stop doing that. Very few people are currently registering right now. So if you go register, you won't even stay there for very long periods. I mean, like I said, I was done in less than an hour. So yeah, let's do the right thing, guys. This is how we can speak on the matters that truly affect us, our livelihoods. So go exercise your constitutional right to vote by registering to vote before the end of the registration period. Now, I am not the owner of all this information I shared here with you. I did a lot of reading. I read the Constitution. I read articles on elections and in Namibia specifically. So I will list my sources in the description box below. So if you're interested in reading this information on your own, then you'll be able to do so. Thank you so much for staying this long. I hope you found this very informative and that you will actually go out there and register yourself to vote. Because you know what? If you do not vote, those that vote will get what they voted for, and then you will have to live with other people's decisions. And if you're above the age of 18, you're an adult, so you now need to start acting responsible. So let's go out and do the right thing. The Electoral Commission of Namibia says, step up for your right, register to vote. Let's go register to vote, guys. Thank you. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people on social media ask, who should we vote for? Don't worry, I'm not about to tell you who you should vote for. The reason I bring this up is just so that I can tell you that, you cannot vote for anyone if you're not registered to vote. And as for who you should vote, that is a decision that you need to make on your own. It might seem like a very difficult thing to do, but that's what adults do. They make difficult decisions. And the political parties before the elections will actually be campaigning, telling you what they will do for you. So the best you can do is actually listen to them and then make your decision based on what they tell you during the campaign. And they'll also have their manifestos outlining what their plans are. But like I said, you need to be registered in order for you to vote. So it doesn't help that you sit out there, don't register, and then when the time comes to vote, you cannot vote. So yeah, just had to throw that one in there. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.